first travel episode of 2025, we head west from Victoria across the South Australian border, following the beautiful and scenic coast en route to our next adventure.
Today is an exciting day because we are finally hitting the road again. So even though we've been in the caravan this whole time, we've been parked up on Josh's mum's farm. As you guys would know from our last video, when we sped across to the east coast, we got here about December 18. We did a mini trip away in the caravan, just wanted to spend New Year's Eve somewhere. We went to Lake Bolac in Victoria, which is a really nice chill place, had some sparklers, watched the fireworks on the TV. It was really nice. But other than that, we've just been parked up here. We've been, of course, exploring around the area. We are quite close to Port Campbell, so it's a really nice spot. We're really antsy to hit the road again, really keen to get going. And today's plan is we're heading to Port Fairy. The van went in for a service yesterday. It got a wheel alignment and a service, and it's in tip-top shape now. It's like we have a refresh before 2025 adventures. Current plan is we're gonna go South Australia, check out those amazing beaches until we get to about Ceduna, and then we're going to head up. We're going to go through Woomera. Woomera was where my grandpa was stationed, so he was in the American Air Force, and then eventually after that they moved to Australia. So that was sort of the story of how like my family came to Australia. So Woomera is like a special place for me, but I also love Coober Pedy, so that's why we're taking that route. And of course, the end goal is to get to Uluru. Stay tuned over the next weeks, months of our channel. We're going to take you with us.
Why are we here? Why are we here, I hear you saying? Because after this, not like after this, you know, today, after we are done in caravans and life on the land and the road, we are buying a yacht and sailing around the world, like actually. So that's pretty cool. So every time we just sort of see boats, we come down here and look at them, or come down to the water and look at them. Stuff like this does kind of blow my mind because, you know, sailing and boating is so popular and they get the best sights ever. You know, how often do we in our caravan try to find a spot as close to the water as possible? Whereas in a yacht or a boat, you're always going to be on the water unless something's gone terribly, terribly wrong. So why is there only like one manufacturer making caravans that are also boats? That's what I want to know. Snowy, I want a caravan boat.
Caraboat.
Well, we won't say that because that may or may not be the actual brand of the other people doing it, but good name.
I thought it was, that just meant caravan that turns to a boat. Caraboat.
Anyway, that's what we need. That's what we need to make happen, Snowy. I will be lead designer and chief mariner, or any other title that sounds good that I'll give myself. We'll talk soon. We'll do some blueprints.
Guys, check out my new activity. I've decided to teach myself how to knit. There's a little textile store here in Port Fairy, and for a little while I had been wanting to teach myself something new, and knitting is something that I've always wanted to learn, just because I think it's so cool to make yourself scarves and beanies and socks and all the things, and yeah, just like a nice meditative thing that you can do that isn't scrolling on your phone. So yesterday I started teaching myself off YouTube. Definitely goes with the caravan lifestyle.
That lighthouse that we're approaching is still in operation today. Another fantastic piece of maritime history along the shipwreck coast. I feel like David Attenborough meets Pat Callanan. I should have a TV show. if you know me, you know that I bloody love lighthouses, and this is a properly pretty one.
Something for you guys to consider if you are planning on heading to Victoria between December and February. This is their peak season. It makes sense, of course, because everywhere else is super, super hot. The further south you are in Australia, the more mild the temperature. Not something that we planned. It was just because we had to go to Victoria for Christmas, and then now we're making our way out. But it's something that we haven't experienced before, because as you guys know, we're mostly like shoulder season, off season travelers. So we are like, oh my god, there's so many people here. We're at Gardens Caravan Park in Port Fairy, and it is packed. It is completely booked out. I'm not even exaggerating. We just went up to the office because we wanted to book another night, and the plan was when we left Port Campbell, we were going to take it a bit slower and camp along the Great Ocean Road, but I genuinely could not find, and I checked every single campsite, no bookings. If you're planning your Victorian getaway, you may want to book in advance. Amazing that we can't even book an extra night here. We can't even extend our stay because there is not even one site available. We ended up moving caravan parks, and we went to, what was it called? South Combe Caravan Park. It's also run by the council, so it was really easy to book another night. They just did it all for us in the back end, and I have to say I prefer the Gardens, but it might just be based on the location. We were right near the water, we had a lot more space, whereas when we were at South Combe we were sort of like in the gridlock of all the caravans. But in general, really liked Port Fairy. What did you think?
I'm just looking at this beautiful, I don't know if you can catch it, but that beautiful building. All the architecture here is amazing. We're just pulling out of Port Fairy, and I'm gonna miss it. I wouldn't live there, but I can see why people do, and it is like being overseas. It really is. It's like just a short visit to a country I've never heard of before down there at Port Fairy. It's beautiful. It's a harbour town. I really, really did actually like it. It was very serene. I had to push Jess into that second night. Third night, sorry. And for a Victorian campsite, that's pretty rare for me to want to stay. I don't know what it is about Victoria. I love the high country, eat it up, do it all. Probably annually I visit high country and places like that. But Victoria's just never really done it for me as a touring state. And that's why I'm not too sad to be leaving, but I am sad to be leaving Port Fairy. So if you want to go overseas without leaving the country, perhaps you have a passport or perhaps you're on a watch list, I'd just go to Port Fairy.
Yeah, it definitely was different. I mean, we just spent a lot of time by the water in WA, but it's so different being on a harbour or a river compared to an ocean. So definitely like the water views in general, and this was just a nice different experience. But now we are headed, we're running our luck. We're going to, it's on Wikicamps, it's called Brown Bay Beach Car Park, and it's basically just a car park that overlooks the beach. It looks really nice in the pictures. Someone's uploaded a bunch of drone pictures so you could see where you park and also the view that you get, and that looks really pretty. But it is a Sunday, it is peak season, so we're kind of running the gauntlet here and hoping that we'll get a spot. It was also the motivation for staying another night last night, because we thought we're probably more likely to get in on a Sunday than we are on a Saturday. We've just done a shop at IGA, we're stocked up, and we're crossing our fingers that we'll get a spot.
That's the killer actually about touring regional areas, that I don't know if we've actually highlighted that much, but regional Victoria, regional Australia is full of IGAs, and they generally have quite good produce, and you know, they're obviously in harder to reach places and all of that. The byproduct of all of that is that it's more expensive, and touring these places therefore actually racks up when you go to your food shops and stuff. We came out at like $200 or just under for that little food shop we did, but that was for like 4 nights of food. If you did that at Woolworths or one of the bigger ones, it'd probably be a lot cheaper. But then again, they're also not supporting the people out here in the places that we're touring. This is a free camp, but I'm going to pay our way and clean up some of this rubbish because it's unsightly and it's bloody un-Australian.
So we pulled up at Brown Bay Beach. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. Brown Bay Beach campground, car park, I think it's called actually on Wikicamps. And as kind of expected, it was packed. It is a nice day, well, reasonably nice day. It's a little bit overcast, but it's warm enough for the beach. So there are a bunch of people in the car park. So when you first drive in, there's a car park which isn't RV friendly, as to say, like, the spots are for cars. But then if you drive onto the sand and you hook right, there is just like one stretch of sand where you can pull up and park for the night. And there was enough room for us, like we could have squeezed in there, but there wasn't a lot of turning around room for us to actually get out. And we are like a decently big setup, so I think if you had a smaller van or maybe a camper trailer, and of course if you had a rooftop tent, it would be a pretty good spot to pull up. The beach was packed, so as long as you don't mind camping on top of people. But I mean, like I said, it's Sunday and it's a nice day, but we just were like, oh, I mean, I anticipated a fight. If you're a caravanning couple, I'm sure that you can relate when it comes to backing into spots and getting out. I just didn't want to have the argument, so I anticipated that we were going to have one, and I was just like, let's just go. There are a bunch of spots like very similar, which is what we're at now. We've pulled up at Orwell Rock, I think it's called. Oh my god, I should really be checking this before I let you guys know where we are. I'll put it in the screen anyway. So we pulled up here and it's a really nice spot. I'm just in the van because it is pretty windy. It's not sheltered, so I don't think we'll be pulling the awning out, but as you can see, it's a beautiful view. Let me flip you and show you. When we were at our first ever caravan show together, while we were considering the caravanning life, this was my exact vision. I think I said this in a past video, but this was my exact vision, was being in the caravan, looking out the kitchen window, the bedroom window, to a beautiful ocean view. And that's why I just love camps like this. It's a bonus that it's free, of course, but yeah, ocean views for me are like just my favorite view. This is a 24-hour spot, so we may need to move on tomorrow. We are just off the road. I don't know if you can see behind me. Don't look at the bed. The bed is where I put all the stuff while we move, so it's covered in things. But the road is just here. So we're pretty much right off the road, but then we've got the ocean right here, so I'm pretty happy. Unfortunately, yeah, like I said, it's a 24-hour spot, so we will need to move tomorrow, but there are a bunch of beautiful spots like this. I want to say up the coast, but we're not up the coast, we're horizontal. We crossed the border today into South Australia, so time zone change, which is always a wig out, even though it's only a small one. But yeah, I'm excited to be by the ocean. It's beautiful. What do you reckon?
I think it's bloody nice. Feels weird camping in a car park, but the world doesn't exist on the other side of the van, so it's okay. What the heck? How's that for a sun halo? I think that happens from when the sun flare or solar rays or whatever it is, I'm not an expert, I only read it on Google 5 seconds ago, comes through ice crystals. Apparently kind of rare, but either way, I've never seen one and it's wild. Have a crack. Hopefully you can hear me. It's so creepy. It is like looking up at the end of the world. It's so weird, especially through polarized sunglasses, but I'll show you.
The sun is currently setting, aka one of the most beautiful times of the day and one of my favorites, because I am not a morning person and I'm usually not up for the sunrise, but It's so nice. We are still the only person in this bit. As you can see, we are right off the road, so people are driving past, but further down on the first bit that you pull into, there's just one van and one car, but we're so far away that it feels like we've got it all to ourselves. And I mean, we pretty much do. We've got uninterrupted ocean views, which is just so nice, you know, for a free camp. I feel like the expectations are always low with free camps because you're like, well, I'm not paying for anything, so I'm kind of not owed anything. But some of the best camps that we've ever been to have been free camps, and it just goes to show, don't discount the wiki camps free camp that has like no reviews, because that was the case with this one. Brown Bay Beach had so many reviews of people saying it was beautiful and they loved camping there and blah blah blah, so that was like the first choice, and this one was sort of like the plan B because, like I said, it's a weekend and it was busy. And this one is honestly probably my preference. So glad we stopped here. You guys also might notice a new addition. We have a new Starlink. So you guys probably remember in our video where we were driving east for Christmas across the Nullarbor, we were talking about how we had put the Starlink dish on the roof so that I could work because we were doing big driving days and it wasn't really cutting it. So we ended up getting in touch with Starlink, let them know the issue, and they sent us a whole new dish. So now it's working perfectly, which is great. I know a lot of people have the standpoint of like, well, you're camping, you're on the road, be in the moment, enjoy it. And as you can see, I'm out with the sunset right now doing exactly that. But the fact of the matter is we live on the road, so I would have to go without internet forever, and that just doesn't work because, you know, I work from the road, Josh works, we upload YouTubes for you guys, and, you know, of course, just stay in touch with family and friends. I also see Starlink as a safety device. It's like, in my mind, the new sat phone, because we used to go away when we were remote with the sat phone, and to be honest, I don't really know how to use it and I never actually learnt. With the Starlink, it's easy. I just make a call, it's a Wi-Fi call, or I send a message, or I send my location, or any situation like that, and I know that I'm connected to help if I need it. That's a bit of a tangent, more just the fact that I think in the camping world, there's all these expectations of what camping should be and what living on the road looks like or should look like. And the fact is, it's a different reality for everyone, and you just need to do what works best for you. I'm a big advocate for that, and this is how we like to travel. So yeah, but I just was pretty impressed that Starlink sent us out a whole new model, which is great. I mean, we pay a lot of money for it, for the service every month. So it's nice to have had the issue resolved. We haven't tried it while we're driving yet though, because as you guys know, we took the rooftop tent and everything off, which we'd actually drilled the Starlink into because we knew that we were taking the tent off anyway. But at the moment, there's just no need to work while driving because we're not doing those massive days and massive kilometers anymore.
I was just telling Jess about this, but I thought I might as well share it with you guys too. This is my little trick. I know you may or may not find it helpful. This is a bright orange stubby cooler. It could be a bright anything, but it's on the handbrake handle there because I've reefed that on just while we're hitched up. Haven't got stabilizer legs down, and that just stops some of the forwards and backwards motion between, well, you know, two parts there. So the thing I don't want to do is drive away with the handbrake on, and it also reminds me that I've unplugged the cables there. No actual reason to, I just do it out of habit. The cables are actually wired up how they should be through the right managers and stuff, so I don't know why I unplug them. I just religiously do. So anyway, that is there. I can see that orange stubby cooler thing straight away when the camera kicks into life. There's no way I'll drive off without the trailer being connected or the van being connected or with the handbrake on. It's just a good visual reminder. Plus I walk past it all the time and I know, it reinforces it in my brain, and then I know to check it, and it's good. sometimes the scope of my genius literally knows no bounds. So what we have here is hose coming from, what is that? The information center?
Yeah.
Into the on tap, and then because we weren't long enough, so then we're boosting it out from the on tap with the motorized pump in here and taking it all the way around into the van. Probably adds another 10 minutes, but it's better than having no water. We've just reached the next spot, which is this gorgeous sort of cliff top that you can camp on. Wild because it's an asphalt car park, but super cool. I'm gonna ditch the van here and head into Mount Gambier. You will remember from last episode that we did service the ute, and now it's a new episode and we're gonna service it all again because we did that many Ks. So maintenance, super important, just so important. So asking a lot from these vehicles, we're not just driving to work. So we're gonna go change oil 4,000 Ks early because we did a lot of high temperature stuff. So a bit more TLC and then good to go.
So as you guys can see, we are literally in a car park. We're down the very end, so we've got some nice bush here, but there are some other cars parked just up there with trailers. I don't think they're camping the night, but definitely like a unique South Australian thing. I don't think I've seen so many camps that are just like car parks overlooking the water before, but really convenient, really great, especially if you're not a confident traveler or confident off-roader, because sometimes to get to these beautiful lookouts you have to take the dirt road or the sand or something like that. So it's really convenient that it's just right off the highway. Pull in and you're here. This was also maybe a 10-minute drive from our last camp, so we aren't making big kilometers at the moment, which is nice because I think previously we have always gone sort of like 1 hour, 2 hours between camps, and now it's just like there's so many little spots that are clustered together in this part of South Australia that we want to check out, and they're all same but different. So just enjoying the water views at the moment, and yeah, the convenience of camping here. Just walking up to show you guys the sign. These are the kind of signs that you will see in these kinds of areas in SA. This is a very similar sign that was at the last one.
So as we mentioned, the Ranger is due for another service already because we just did that big cross-continental crossing. So I've got what I've got here is a very fancy 20-litre bucket, and it is actually fancy because it's one of those ones that you can seal up properly. So it's also the right size to slide underneath my ute and catch all the oil. So all I do when I'm on the road is put the dirty oil in one of these, bang a lid on it, and then drop it off at the local waste disposal place, and then I just do everything else by the book. And because we're asking so much of these vehicles, I really do it by the book and then a bit extra. So I do things like using these intelligent sump plugs and already having everything out ready to go. This is to get the oil filter off, this is to clean it all up, because if you know anything about these, they don't have a self-priming oil pump, which means it has to be done very quickly. And then to clean up my hands, I got these. I am prepared. So 10 minutes, this will all be done. That's the thing about having a Ranger. That sounds annoying, but it forces you to do it and know it only takes 10 minutes. So it's actually kind of good.
I think I especially love doing this with the ocean view because I think most people who grew up in Sydney sort of had the dream of the waterfront property, or maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, always wanted to live on the water with a water view, and having a caravan is just the easiest way to achieve that dream because not only do we get to have a water view, but we get to change our water view. We can head to any coastline in Australia, as long as you can camp there, we can pull up there, and we get to have a waterfront property for however long we choose to have one. And as you guys know, in Windabandy we were there for 3 weeks, so we had beach views every day for 3 weeks, and of course the wind and the sand and everything that came with it. But it's just amazing that you can have this lifestyle. As you can hear, Josh is just hitching the van up now because we are about to leave. We're heading to our next stop. We have actually booked this one because you had to book, and there's a lighthouse there, which is why we've booked it, because old mate loves a lighthouse. And it looked pretty good on Wiki Camps. It cost us $18.50, very specific, for the night. So we're not having to rush off because obviously our spot is secured and we don't have to grab one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to yet another beautiful campsite. I'm really loving South Australia so far. I'm loving the sunsets, the water views, and just how relaxed camping is here. And we haven't even reached Port Lincoln yet, which is supposed to be where it really ramps up. So we've just pulled up at camp. As you can see, our setup is behind us, and we are walking now up to check out the lighthouse. This is the toilet. We've gone the wrong way. We need to go this way. The lighthouse is here, and so is the toilet. So we're gonna go the right path now.
Also, this outfit is derived of, I've been rolling in the dirt, so I put on dirty clothes, and just don't judge me, alright? Look at all this dust coating the trees and the shrubs as you go up this hill. That's why I just went back and shut the canopy doors, because I don't want to get coated in this. It's like bull dust.
Yeah, you can see it here.
It is bull dust. It's a funny thing. Well, so what do we reckon for lighthouses, red or orange? Kind of not vibing with the orange. I do prefer red. Just.
We'll let the council know that Josh wants a repaint of the lighthouse, or he will not be giving 5 stars.
I'm wondering if that's a working lighthouse, because it's in good condition. It's got power running up to it. And then if it is a working lighthouse, is it just going to light up our caravan like all night?
That's us right there.
This place is definitely going to be haunted.
Why?
You should read that sign over there. It's a harrowing and beautiful and emotional story. This ship sort of wrecked off the coast, and for like days and days people were attempting rescue, but it says that they couldn't get to them because of where they were, and I guess the sort of supplies they had at the time. And so the people from shore just watched as one by one they dropped due to exposure and exhaustion into a watery grave. And that was like right over there. So haunted, if you believe in it.
We got to Robe yesterday afternoon and there were some really strong winds, so we sort of explored the town a little bit, got some lunch and then bunkered down in the van. And then today it's raining. It's been raining all day. It's currently midday. It's funny because the last time we were in Robe it was raining and there wasn't a lot to do, so we just bunkered down in the tent. And now it's raining and we're bunkering down in the caravan. But we're going to the information centre now because we want to see what indoor activities there are. We might visit some shops, head to some of, I don't know what Robe has to offer on a rainy day. We do want to do a walk to the, I keep saying it wrong, what is it, the obelisk? Yeah. The obelisk, but of course not in the rain, so hopefully we can do that one tomorrow. But today we're just going to check out what the town has on offer.
Yep, it's going to be good.
So I gotta love an information centre because I'm sure they will have a bunch of pamphlets of things that we can do to entertain ourselves. And then I don't know what it is about a rainy day, but it always makes me want to bake. Of course we don't have an oven in the van, we've got one in the ute, so I might be getting a little bit wet, but I might do some baking with Savo. Rightio, we are stocked up full of pamphlets. We're working out what we can do today. We also got an Adelaide one because that's where we're heading next. And while we were in there, this guy came up to us and said that he loved our channel, which was so nice because we are by no means a big channel. Hang on, I gotta put my seatbelt on. But it's so nice to meet people in the flesh because obviously we talked to you guys in comments. But that's the second time that someone's walked up to us in a really random spot. The first time was IGA in Timboon, and now the information centre in Robe. So it's so nice to meet people in real life and hear how much you guys love the channel. It really gives us a lot more motivation to keep creating content, knowing that it's resonating and helping people explore Australia. Today we're going to check out the Robe Town Chocolate Company. Not a bad rainy day thing to do. We've also got some other pamphlets for places that we can go, so we're just gonna work out the best strategy.
I washed that a week ago. No I didn't, a day ago. 2 days ago. Sorry, getting shot. Show you a haul, Jess's haul really. Dark chocolate macadamia and red frogs in milk chocolate. I'll be stealing these ones.
Another food stop, we are at Mike's Jerky. No one here in the car park except us. So we're gonna head into the store and see what jerky they've got on offer. We love jerky, it's such a good driving snack as well. New haul.
We're just walking around Robe doing hauls now. We've got plenty of beef jerky for the remainder of, well, the day. Mixture there of original and black pepper.
So we just went into this cool little factory called Transmutation, and I kind of thought they were just going to be reusing old plastics, which, you know, lots of people do now that we focus more on sustainability and things like that. But one thing that I found really interesting were they were making a lot of stuff out of bread tags, so the things that, you know, wrap the plastic on the end of your bread. When you walk in there, the owners, they're so passionate about what they're doing that it's not a tour, but they take you around and they explain everything, and it's super informative and interesting. And she showed us a bread tag from the 1980s that was in pristine condition, which I guess is a statement in itself on how they don't break down. When they go to landfill, they just pile up. So what they've done is made all these really cool products out of bread tags. They were the ones that impressed me the most, but they also had things in there from local artists, earrings made of ring pulls from cans and things like that. So it's a really cool place to check out if you're in Robe, especially on a rainy day or where you're looking for something interesting and unique to do. I definitely learned a lot while we're in there. I think it's really cool, really innovative, the things that people come up with, and you know, landfill is obviously going to be an ongoing problem. And now we're doing something that's maybe a little bit spooky, depending on how you see death. We're at the historic cemetery in Robe. We've just pulled up, and what's really cool is if you go on their website, there is an app that you can download, and it'll give you an audio explanation of who the person is who's in the grave.
We do seem to always end up at a cemetery. Have you noticed that? Like,
yeah, but
historic cemeteries are bloody interesting. It's just weird, morbid, dark tourism as well.
I don't think it's morbid. I think that, you know, death is a part of life, and it's a cool thing to check out. It's part of history of the town. These people lived here once, and I think it's interesting that they've made it a tourist thing. I wonder how many people do it.